Hey, shalom, y'all. Shalom. I'm trying to get the feed up and going. Y'all bear with me. We'll get it. We'll have it up and going here in a sec. There we go. Shalom, y'all. It's Michael Israel. I'm at the Bible in Black and White Conference, and if my audio's good, you getting ready to blow it? You getting ready to blow it?
I will.
Go ahead. Go ahead. That's perfect, man. So yeah, y'all, I'm Michael Israel. I'm at the Bible in Black and White Conference, getting everything set up. If y'all are watching, please put in the comments if the audio is good. If it is, I'm gonna go on in because they're doing a praise and worship service in there. This is the Bible in Black and White Conference out here in Carolina with Brother Ron Dalton and Benaya Israel. It's pretty packed. Okay, so Sister Koya said the audio's good. Let me do a quick gimbal check, and then we're going to head in there because it looks like everything's good. So y'all bear with me. All right, let me check my balance. All right. Hold on, we live right now. Hold on one sec. All right. Yes. Let me, when I go in there, I'll get with Ron and I'll let him know. Okay? All right. So we good. So everything's good. So we're going to go in. The worship service already started. After the worship service, it's going to be like a meet and greet. So we'll be good. All right. So we're going to head on in. All right.
Y'all hold up, fellas. I think she's in E.
We're gonna go over to Ron real quick. We're gonna go over to Ron Dalton.
Same way.
Hey, Ron, ain't you supposed to be on the drums? Hey, step over here real quick. Let's step outside real quick.
After this, I'm about to go on.
Okay. Just talk for 1 sec till they introduce you. So we're live here. We're at the Bible.
The Bible in Black. We the people of the book and doesn't matter conference with me and Benaya Israel. We're in High Point. As you see, it's cars in the parking lot over there. It's cars over there. The place is getting packed as we speak. Getting ready to go on and speak, and after me is going to be Benaya. This is day one. We got Saturday and then Sunday. So if you're in the North Carolina area, come out. Michael Israel rode a plane in supersonic speed to get here because I didn't think he was going to be here today, but he's here. So I'm excited. The guy on the drums is beating good. Everybody's singing. It's a lovely experience.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just walk around and just give y'all some good shots of what's going on in there. And like I said, Spiritual Combat in the building. Event coverage all night, baby. Spiritual Combat.
to summon and present to others one that doesn't need an introduction. He is the author of Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. He's wrote 4-volume books. If you don't have those books, please go cop them. They will change your life. He has 2 movies out. One he released on last year, Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. And the new one that he just released in July, Hebrews to Negroes 2, Revelations. I introduce to some and I present to others none other than the author and director, the one and only, Dr. Ron Dalton Jr.
Shalom, everybody. Okay. All right, so all praise and glory to the Most High God and the Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, when we come to Jesus Christ. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I always say that it's a blessing when church or anybody opens the doors to have me come speak, because when I first woke up to the truth, and coming from a Pentecostal apostolic background, and my dad being a pastor, I thought that I was going to be teaching this to the Church of Jesus Christ throughout all different churches, but they didn't want to hear me, so I started writing a book. But I'm going to tell you a story. Right around the time that I woke up, before I woke up, I was sitting at a second church service in the afternoon, and I was sitting a little bit where the brother back there is sitting with the purple shirt on, right there. If anybody, you can put your hand up in the air, sir. Right there, you. I was sitting there, and everybody was standing up, and people were. It was getting ready to do altar call. People were singing. The pastor was up, and I just sat there and I prayed. I was praying with my head down like this, and everybody was standing up. And as he did altar call, somebody kept tapping me on my shoulder, and I was in like work clothes, and that's why I sat in the back of the church. And I don't know how he saw me, but he saw me, and he must have had somebody point at me. So everybody started touching me on my shoulder, and I said, "What does he want?" I was like, "What does he want me for?" And they said, "He wants you to come up. He wants you to come up." And usually, I don't like when pastors single you out and say, "Come on up to the front of the church." My wife doesn't like it either. So anyway, I came up to the front of the church, and he prayed for me. He put his hands on me. But before he prayed for me, he put his hands on both sides of my head. He said, "The Lord's going to do something great within you." Like basically saying that you'll do something great for the Most High, for the Lord. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant, because I still wasn't really in the truth. And I knew I was going to be a pastor like my dad, because I don't have the gift of the my brother's more into that, into preaching and speaking. So, after that, I went back home, and it wasn't too long after that I was in another service, and I drove from Eastern Michigan to Southfield to sit in the back of the church, and I was reading my Bible, and as I was reading my Bible, I got to Deuteronomy 28. And at the time, I was working in St. Agnes Hospital in the ER in the west side of Detroit, which is a level 1 trauma hospital, so we see all the trauma. And as I read through Deuteronomy 28, and I started reflecting on things that I saw in the ER, in the trauma center, in the city of Detroit, and even New York, different places I would go to, and even with slavery, I said, this is us. This is about us. And my heart started fluttering. I said, could it be that we ought to go to church in Israel? And because I said, this doesn't sound like Jews in Israel right here. But then when I asked other people, they would say, nah, Jews in Israel, wow, what are you talking about? And they usually just shut me down, not the time, I don't know what you're talking about. And so later that day, in the evening, I went home and I prayed and I said, God, can you show me the truth? Can you show me the truth? Because I was hearing a lot of things, seeing people on YouTube saying we're the real Israelites and people saying we're from Egypt and all sorts of stuff. And I just want to know what the truth was. Because in the Christian church, we wasn't being taught this. And that's when he woke me up to who we are as a people. And he started revealing things to me and showing me things. And as he was doing that, I was writing it down. I was writing in notebooks, printing it out, saving things in folders, building up a PowerPoint presentation like one of these right here you can see today. And when I got done with all of this, nobody really wanted to hear me speak about it. So I wrote a book. After the book, a couple pastors said that this generation doesn't read. You're going to have to do a movie. And I said, okay, I thought about that. So then I did a movie. And then I did another movie. And the impact of the books, I didn't see it at first because I thought nobody was read my books until later, years later, like 2015, 2016, 2017. I would see more and more people say, your books have changed my life. Your books have changed my life for my kids. The movie, thank you for your movie. And so I knew that my work was not in vain. The 700 pages that I wrote in book 1, the 700 pages in book 2, the 700 pages in book 3, the 700 pages in book 4, because the book is about this thick, if anybody's read the book. Anybody read the book, Hebrews to Negroes? Okay, so even the movie, the first movie is 3.5 hours long. And some people are like, oh, it's too long. But I wanted to put as much as I could in that first movie, because I didn't know if it was going to be another movie, while I had the money and the time to do the second movie, so that people can understand what a movie that we are the real children of Israel. And it's a long movie. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. And the second one is on Amazon. These are sold out right now, but I'm going to have some in next week. It's on Amazon. You get the books, you get the DVD, and you can stream it with Wi-Fi. So today, we're going to do an intro to why it's important we understand who we really are. Like the title of the conference, the Bible Black, we the people of the book, it doesn't matter. It does matter. And I'm going to show you why it matters with the introduction. Because we all have the term African American. Before African American came to be, we had Negro or Black. My grandparents, they're used to saying Negroes. Now we say African American. So we need to understand the connection we have to Africa and then from Africa to Israel. And it's important for those that are in America, as well as those that's in the Caribbean, those in South America, and Mesoamerica, because we're scattered to the four corners. So, let me get started. I got a lot of information, and I want you guys to get as much as you can. Can we kill these lights on here? All right, so one of my favorite sayings is, a lie cannot live forever. And Malcolm X said that the greatest mistake, can everybody see that? You need these lights off? Everybody can see it? Okay. The greatest mistake that the movement has been trying to organize sleeping people around specific goals. You have to wake up the people first, then you'll get action. And even though at the time when Malcolm X said this, he probably wasn't thinking on the terms that we're Israelites, but if it's interesting, you look at that statement, that no matter how much you tell the people, you're this, you're that, we need to do this, we need to do that, if you don't wake them up, if you can't wake up the people that sleep, then it's pointless trying to organize them around specific goals. All right, so the big question is today, in this church and even across Black America, can we handle truth? A lot of people reject truth. A lot of people, you give them all the scripture, you give them historical fact, and they still do not want to accept the truth. And I find it really mind-boggling that a lot of pastors have tons of books in their studies, and you tell them straight scripture, give them historical facts that they can't deny, they still don't want to believe it. Still don't want to believe it. I mean, the Gentiles don't want to believe it, but even Black people don't want to believe it. It's just like the movie where Neo, where you have Morpheus, he says to Neo, which one do you want to take, blue pill or red pill? So trick, knowledge, or truth, which one do you want, which one do we want? And so in the movie, The Matrix, it says you wake up, you take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill and you stay in Wonderland, and I'll show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Because this rabbit hole of what they hid from us for over 2,000 years, even through slavery, is very, very deep. And so once we find out who we are, it's going to be mind-blowing. So it's only the truth. So Harriet Tubman said, I freed 1,000 slaves, I could have freed 1,000 more, and only thing they were slaves. Harriet Tubman said that. So the questions that I used to have in the church was, are we under the curse of Canaan, or are we under the curse of Israel? Most of the times we talk about Canaan. The curse of Canaan, we always equated that with Black people. Who are we? Why we can't get ahead. We got churches in every corner of Detroit, just like we have liquor stores. But it seems like even though we go to church on Sundays, the Bible class on Wednesdays, revivals, that as a people we cannot get ahead. Why does everybody hate us, even to this day? Why are we always treated unfair? Why are they trying to get rid of us with eugenics? Why can't we stick together as a people like other nations do? Why are there so many obstacles preventing us from succeeding? Why does the world discriminate us based on skin color and now other nations such as people in India that have dark skin tones as us? Why do we work for everyone else? The Bible talks about this. So the truth does matter. A lot of times when people say it doesn't matter what color Christ was, it doesn't matter who were the Israelites because they're in Israel, we're over here. But the truth does matter. The simple question you got to ask anybody, any pastor, does the truth matter? And of course they're going to say, yes, the truth does matter. So it does matter that we teach the truth to the people in the Christian church, and even the Gentiles. So in the Bible we know that in the end there's going to be a strong delusion that God's going to send, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not in the truth but have pleasure in righteousness. Marcus Garvey said, a people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. What is our history? Is it African American history, going all the way back to 1619? What is our heritage, our true traditions and customs, our true culture? Who is our God? Here you see in Hebrew, you see the words, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." The Shema prayer, the Jews pray all the time. But it's really our scripture. So, who were the slaves that were taken from Africa? Now, you see here, it's hard to see, but this is Africa, and you see different routes of the slave trade, transatlantic slave trade, to South America, Mesoamerica, and the Americas. So a lot of slaves were taken to Brazil, and to the Caribbean, and to North America. Now, Hitler had a book, another guy wrote a book, they quoted what Hitler said. And Hitler said in this book, it's called The Nazis, that one segment, basically he said that the heritage of the Jew is traced to the Oriental, meaning the Arab, the Negro, the Near Asian, going into Asia, and the Hamitic people, the sons of Ham. Hence, the Jew is a bastard. Now, in the book, they have this picture of a Jewish guy, but then they have a Middle Eastern guy, Oriental or Italian, and they have a son of Ham, and they have the other two nations here, and Negro as well in here, but you can't really see it because the book is folded. And so some people say that when Hitler was close to getting old to die, and Hitler said even in his death that he will start World War III. One of the soldiers asked in this book, or this article, Hitler replied, "The day mankind finds out what I was trying to defend this nation, Germany, from, that's the day that World War III will start. For on that day, mankind will learn that I was trying to save my nation from the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Jews. For if the Americans wins the war, then they will conquer the world and forever be a slave to the Jews, and they will try to conquer God. Do you know who America has in its possession?" "No," the soldier replied. Hitler replied, "The Americans have the jewels of God. The Americans have stolen God's precious jewels." "What do you mean, his precious jewels?" the soldier asked. Hitler replied, "America has stolen the Jews of God, his jewelry, the Negroes. They are the true Hebrews." It goes on to say, when America and its Jewish slave masters conquered the world, and the world realized that I was right, then all nations will begin a third world war to dethrone America of its rule. Every nation will soon possess atomic bombs of their own. It will be the end of most of the world as we know it. "Why will the Jews control America?" the soldier asked. Hitler said, "Because the white Jews know that the Negroes are the real children of Israel. And to keep America's secret, the Jews will blackmail America, the Jews will extort America. Their plan for world domination won't work if the Negroes know who they are. The white citizens of America will be terrified to know that all this time they've been mistreating and discriminating and lynching the children of Israel. They will feel God will destroy them as he destroyed Egypt for doing the same thing. So the elite, the Illuminati, keeps this a secret at all costs. After I die, I will one day cause World War III by just this message, which will be like planting a seed in the people's minds until it sprouts out once they nurture the seed and seek more truth and learn that I was right. I did the world a favor by killing the false Jews before they designated a false state of Israel, but I fear I have failed. The world will fall into the hands of Satan." Now, a lot of people, Snopes,
which is controlled by the Ashkenazi Jews. They say this is a false document. This is not true. Anyway, but that was interesting. So here we see different ports where different slave ships disembarked and dropped off slaves. And so this is right here is a picture of Cuba, plantation. A lot of slaves were brought to Cuba, and they speak Spanish in Cuba. Here we see Haitians working on the sugar plantations, right here. Map of Hispaniola. About 774,000, almost a billion slaves during the 17th century were sent to Haiti. Now here we see slaves in Stokes County, North Carolina in 1826. Stokes County is somewhere in here. I forgot it. Right, I think it's right here. But anyway, this guy right here did an auction where he was giving off 100 acres and also 7 Negroes to come with it. So the purpose of this conference is to understand our identity and why it's important. So here's the state of America, most America as we see it today in terms of Black America.
Stop calling me a black man. I am not black. I'm American. We are not African. We two separate people. African are a disgusting people.
These statements show clear confusion in how blacks identify. Do they reject blackness? Or are they misunderstandings about what blackness truly is? Let's define race, ethnicity, and nationality.
Race is a mode of categorization that's based on physical appearance. So in the case of jelly beans, race is color. Because race is based on appearance, to some degree it's ascribed, meaning that people are assigned into racial categories based on what other people see. Even if somebody could be mistaken for a certain racial category, it can still apply to them. Ethnicity refers to the ethnic group or groups that a person belongs to. It's a part of a person's heritage and ancestry. In the case of jelly beans, ethnicity is like the flavor. Two people who are in the same racial group can still have very different ethnicities. For example, all of these are red, but this one is cinnamon and this one is cherry. The word nationality refers to someone's national origin, the country where they hold citizenship. For jelly beans, it's like the bag that a bean comes from. People of the same race or ethnicity can come from all different nations, like the watermelon bean that's in Kamloops and Gates Base, or the lemon lime bean that's in all three.
I am not black.
I'm not African American.
I'm an American.
I'm from Africa. I'm from Crenshaw, Mars. African booty scratcher.
Who try to claim that they're not Africans, who claim that they do not see color, as if they're not seeing color makes it a difference in the world. Simply because you don't see color doesn't mean somebody does not see you with color.
At some point in life, everyone embarks on a journey to determine who they are. A person's identity is predominantly determined by the groups or cultures they belong to. This is what's known as cultural identity. It is part of a person's self-conception and self-perception and is related to race, ethnicity, nationality, religion, social class, generation, locality, or any kind of social group or construct that has its own distinct culture.
Let's understand, culture gives us at least 3 things: identity, purpose, and direction. It lets the people know who they are in the world, how they relate to other people in the world. It tells them what they need to be about their purpose, and it gives them a way to go about living their life. It gives them direction.
It binds us to each other. It gives us identity. It gives us a reason for survival.
relationship to the world. When it
All right, so if anybody's seen that video, Morgan Freeman did he thought he was a Blackfoot Indian until they did a DNA test and they said he came from West Africa. And then he said, well, I'm not going to apologize for believing all this time I've been Blackfoot Indian. If you have people today that say we got this part Indian, I'm not African, I'm African American, I'm from Egypt, I'm a Nubian, I'm a Moor. So you're seeing that there's a lot of confusion today in the black community. Even when you ask your parents, where are you? What's your nationality? What's your ethnicity? They say, well, we're black, we're African American. That's all they give you. They say African American is 2 continents, America and Africa. They don't understand. So when you look here, this is a picture of slavery in Brazil. It's hard to see here, but these 2 black kids are the slaves of these Brazilian people. Now, when you look at West Africa, because most of the transatlantic slave trade happened in West Africa, these slaves right here are called Coromantee slaves from Ghana, interior coast of Ghana. And it says Negroes from northern territories of the Gold Coast. A good many of these type were found their way to the America as Coromantee slaves because they were shipped from the British and Dutch coast stations of Coromantee or Coromantee near the Cape Coast. So who were the Coromantee slaves from Ghana that were sent to the Americas and Jamaica and also South America? Now, this is Fort Amsterdam. This is near Cape Coast, where a lot of the slaves, Negroes, were sold to the Americas. Barack Obama is visiting with his daughters, but a lot of people don't understand that Barack Obama's father was of the Luo tribe in Kenya. And the Luo tribe traditionally descend from the ancient Egyptians and the Cushites, not the ancient Israelites. So a lot of people think this, but they got to do the research. And so here we see slaves that were taken from the Gold Coast or the Cape Coast, Fort Amsterdam, from the Coromantee region. And here you see Coromantee or Ashanti or Akan people blowing the shofar. Now why are they blowing the shofar? That's what the Israelites did. They blow a ram's horn. Here we see the shofar right here going to Africa. We see Ashanti men of the Akan tribe blowing the shofar. Just like the Fanti, you have the Ashanti and the Fanti linked with the Akan people. And then here you see the Asante with the Jamaican colors on it. Here you see an Asante man with a group of English colonialists on a raft. If you zoom up closely, he has the breastplate of judgment on his chest with the 12 stones of Israel and the ephod on his mitre or his hat right here. See? This is not a make-believe picture, this is a real picture. So why would he be wearing a breastplate of the 12 tribes of Israel with all the stones in 4 rows of 3 stones across, just like the Bible talks about? Now you look in Suriname. Suriname, they speak the Dutch language. And a lot of the slaves from Ghana was taken to Suriname and the Guyanas, and French Guyana and Dutch Guyana. And here you see the slave right here, and you see the slave master. So these guys right here, they are of the Coromantee Negro people that came from Ghana. But these guys live in Jamaica. Is anybody Jamaican here? Any Jamaican in the group? So you have the Maroons, and you have a group of people in the certain part of Jamaica that speak the Coromantee language that you can still find in Ghana. And they're speaking a language that a lot of Ghanaians can speak, and people in Suriname can understand what they're saying.
So, tell me now what I mean to say. What did you say? We get to go back. No, but you know that just you catch yourself because you think about one thing. Yeah. I said something. We have to keep all the money. Right, but the people go back to the chat, right? Right, so what else?
All right, so a lot of Jamaicans, because I showed this video to some Jamaicans, they didn't understand the language, but some Jamaicans understand the language. Now, what you see here in this video, I'm trying to move so I can get the name this time. But anyway, there's a video of a guy. He's from the Coromantee region from Ghana. He goes to visit Suriname, which is Dutch Guyana. They speak Dutch, but there's people in Suriname that speak the Coromantee language. So we know that slavery did happen. Despite people saying, "Oh, we're indigenous to the Americas. We've always been here. We're Indians." You know, but no, your language says you came from West Africa. You're not Indian. So here is a guy named Stephen Corsa. He's from the Comartin region in Ghana, and he takes a trip to Suriname, which is in South America, or Dutch Guyana.
Over there, there's the sea. And from there, the boats came in. We can say that they brought about 100 up to 200 slaves, but in the whole 300 years, what you catch here is about 250,000. It's a lot. But at the end of slavery, then they called for emancipation in 1863. 36,000 left. Yes.
But on the whole, we have not less than 60 million Africans being enslaved.
Okay.
With only 12 million successfully crossing the Atlantic.
Now we are going in the Congo River. And on the Congo River, there you have the plantation. We are about 2 hours now on boat with the motor. By that time, maybe 5-6 hours rowing.
Yes.
And then they arrived. And when they arrived, then the work starts. We will go to Allianz. It was a former sugar plantation.
We go to a former sugar plantation in Suriname.
Now in the front, you can see the manager's house. It is a little bit in bad shape, but imagine what it was during the time of slavery and after that.
That's the slave master's house.
Here's the place where he stayed with his family. Nowadays they grow citrus, but in those days it was sugar cane.
So they love sugar and rum, huh?
Well, in Europe for sure,
Yes.
and you could trade it.
Yes.
And with that money, they make huge houses in Europe.
Okay, all the slaves who worked to produce the rum.
That's true, I knew. They had to work 24 hours a day, for example, when it was harvest time. So there was no need to sleep in a house, just to rest a little bit.
And such houses like this?
Like this. It was used for the slaves, yes. A lot of them
In a row, huh?
in a row, yes. A lot of them, with one entrance. But they work, it was only work and die. This is tamarind tree. I think it is more than 200 years old. The tree was used also to bind up slaves on it and then punish them. So we see that there was a lot of hard work, hard labor on the plantation. Mistreating, torture, frustration. And then you can understand that on a certain point there's no return. That they say enough is enough. And it is. That's true. They will leave the plantation and look for their freedom. Go to the interior and live there like free men. And then they came back to protect the plantation, to put the factories on fire, to take the women with them, and to look for weapons and so on. We are now actually, it's about 200 kilometers from Paramaribo.
Warriors. That land man was in there fighting. On the front of the party, on the street of the party. For the woman, they wouldn't allow them to be raped. They better commit suicide. But just wrong. And you know when they came here, they were fighting. So they carried this across.
The rules, they use the knowledge of the Amerindian very well to adapt the situation. The Amerindians know how to walk in the interior, how to use the plants, and so on. So they got friends and they formed a front against the oppressors.
So they're talking about the Maroons and the Indians.
In 1863, they left the farthest way in the jungle to come and live nearby the river. So what you can see that at this moment we have a lot of Maroon villages along, for example, the Syrian River. So we I don't know that's other five. Yeah, it is a Maroon, a small Maroon village where you can meet the Romantic people of the river. Romantic Maroon.
Romantic Maroons.
Yeah, that's that for you.
He's going to meet us. I'm sending up a slave right now.
I go, Monsieur, Ojogama, Tamadadi, Chikomo, Besani, Onore, Otonani Ota, Agan, say
I'm
Gan,
speaking the same language.
Ga, Bata, Tobete, Chokomidi, Sakarado. Yes, I come back. Satoto. Kosa. Bidi mobile. From mobile. Tatalo Tani. Katalo Sakama. Sakara Dida. Dasan. Loko ni ma dos. Wa, iko ni di. Tabaka.
So he was speaking in his language, saying how our ancestors, they overcame, and life is hard, but we remain. And they're speaking the same language from Ghana all the way in Suriname. So this is how you know the connection between Africa and the Americas is true, even though people say, well, we're slave ships. We're slave ships. We're slave ships. We can't prove the slave ships, so we come from America. That's our home. So if you look at the major diasporic ethnicities that were taken to Jamaica, you'll see the Igbo or Nigeria, Congo in Africa, Central Africa. Mungo is also in the Congo. Mandingo is Senegal, Gambia, like Roots and Mandingo Island or St. James Island. Koromanti, and you have other groups such as the Chamba, Nago, and Popo. And these are just descriptions of what the Europeans called the people that were taken. Igbo, Congo, Mongola, Mondingo, Moko, Koromanti, Chambo, Nago was another word for Yoruba from Benin, Western Nigeria. Papo was also from Benin. Kanga was from Liberia, Sierra Leone. Fanti was an Akan people from Ghana. Fuller, Wana, Calabar, Mayo, Madagascar, Angola, Portuguese Congo. So as you can see, all different places of Africa. So African Jamaicans usually were the first to arrive in 1513 from the Iberian Peninsula. And Lance will get more into detail about this. A lot of them, when the English captured Jamaica in 1655, many of them fought with the Spanish, who gave them their freedom, and then they fled to the mountains with the Indians, resisting the British for many years to maintain their freedom, becoming known as the Maroons. The British, at this point in time, brought with them mostly Akan slaves from Ghana and the Ivory Coast, some of which ran away and joined with the Maroons and even took over as their leaders. And so here you see Jamaicans, you see Maroons or Indians, also Jamaicans from slaves from Ghana, right here working on a plantation. And you see the Akan people. Akan is an Israelite name. It's in the Bible, Hebrew Strong's. See right here, Akan. Right here, Akan, man of Judah. And when you look at St. James, Jamaica, they had a plantation called this New Canaan plantation. New Canaan. Why would they call it the New Canaan plantation? We know what Canaan is. It's the land of Israel. So they're giving you an idea of who they knew that who the Israelites were. So you had the Igbo people. A lot of the Igbo people were taken to the Carolinas, to Georgia, and Virginia. So this is Virginia and West Virginia because around the mid-1800s, 1860, Virginia and West Virginia split because they had the war, the Confederate and the Union, and they were fighting who won, and they split in half. So a lot of people from West Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia come from the Igbo tribe. The Edo people also as well, the Bini people in southeastern Nigeria. And I want you to see a quick video. I don't have a lot of time. Is it okay if we go over there a little bit? Just a little bit? All right. You guys got to see this. The traditions of the Igbo people.
Welcome to Igbo Traditions and Religion. In this video, we will be going over their religion and some of the many traditions of the Igbo culture. We will get to see explanations of their religion and beliefs, an overview of why kola nuts are so important to the Igbo people, and what 2 different festivals are like, and eventually we will go over how these traditions and religious beliefs have evolved over time. But before we start, let's take a look at what religion and tradition mean in our culture.
To begin to understand Igbo tradition and religion, we first must know what tradition and religion mean. Tradition. The transmission of customs or beliefs from generation to generation, or the fact of being passed on in this way. Religion. The belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods.
Now that we know the definitions of tradition and religion, let's take a look at the specifics of the Igbo religion.
The people of Igbo have a traditional religion that is formed around their belief of God being their creator, who they call Chineke or Chukwu. It's thought that he can be approached through other deities and spirits in the form of natural objects. He is commonly reached through the god of thunder, Amadiola. They also believe in protection of deceased ancestors over living descendants. Ancestors are responsible for rain, harvest, health, and children in the village. The process of marrying an Igbo woman takes many years. There are 4 steps in total for doing so: asking the woman's consent, negotiating through a middleman, testing the bride's character, and paying the bride book, also known as dowry. Another rite of passage for the Igbo people is the process for burial. When someone dies of old age, the Igbo people see it as a blessing. They dress the person in their nicest clothes, sit them on a stool with the sitting posture, and allow family and friends to pay their respects. Afterwards, they're wrapped in grass mats and are taken to be buried. Normally, when the head of household dies, that person is buried under the floor of their house.
Now that we have learned about some of the religious customs, here now we will look at some ceremonies and festivals. As we know, traditions and festivals are very important to the Igbo people. One cultural festival or ceremony is the kola nut ceremony. The kola nuts are very important to the Igbo people and are a culturally influenced nut that's been used for many different reasons. Most importantly, the kola nut ceremony. So the ceremony begins with a group of people called the hosts blessing the kola nut. The hosts are usually the people running the ceremony for the visitors. Usually the eldest member of the host begins blessing the nut with a prayer. This starts the ceremony and makes the visitors become more welcome to their village or house. The biggest part of the ceremony is the breaking of the kola nut. Usually the eldest member again will break the nut using their hands or with a knife. The person breaking the nut wants to break it into as many pieces as they can so that they can distribute the broken nut to the visitors to bring them prosperity. While the nut is being distributed, this is a time when the visitors and explain the reason for their visit, and is meant for people to become more familiar with each other. So the reason behind this festival is a very happy, uplifting festival for people to get to know each other and become more familiar with the Igbo culture. Along with the kola nut festival, there are many other festivals such as the masquerade and Yam festival of the Igbo people. The Igbo religion plays a large part in these festivals, and so do the ancestors of the Igbo people. The masquerades usually coincide with social gatherings of the Igbo people, such as festivals. The masks worn are to commemorate the ancestors. Traditionally, these festivities were used to keep the peace of the village, and everyone in the village would take part. Throughout the festivals, there would be dances, talents such as wrestling, and the masquerades would go to people in the village and call them out on their order to say, or to people.
Mana
malungi kita tahu aja kawabu nyama.
The Igbo tribe numbers more than 14 million people, all of whom were nurtured on this legend.
In Africa, the Nanya, Nobibia, Unubizia, was lying.
So he says the Israelites.
No, I will line the food. And I need Nanya Nuba. Nanya Bumuri. I will in the blue. Can I also be in a side of the Wabia? Because Genesis 46, 15:16. Libya. Libya, why would I shop that area of one guy? That day, Moses, no guy, I want to have Israel.
Bueno, vamos a tomar para hacer que creí. Para Google na asakuro. Bonisi. Para Google na.
We visit.
So the Igbos, I don't know if you can see the subtitles. Everybody see the subtitles? The Igbos say they're from the son of Gad through Erie. And they circumcised on the 8th day, and they make child on the 8th day. I asked an Igbo man, I said, how do you guys keep the day of rest? And he said, if we look at the moon, and we see the little sliver in the moon, and we count 7 days after that. Because the new moon is the first of the month for them. He said before they had a calendar and the Roman calendar, he said that's how they did the day of rest. They also cast lots. Anybody know about casting lots? In the Bible, when Judas died, they had to cast lots to figure out who was going to be the replacement for the 12th disciple. The Igbos still do that in the Ebe as well. And they also pour libations, like in Jeremiah. They pour libations to the Queen of Heaven. So the Igbos do a lot of things. Even the New Yam Festival, which corresponds to the first harvest of the year. In Hebrew, it will be the barley or the wheat, but they use the yam, the New Yam Festival. So we have the Ewe people, the Ewe people. They come from Togo, Benin, Ghana. And if you look at a lot of Haitian people, they have a lot of Ewe in their DNA from the Ewe tribe, even the Akan tribe, and even tribes such as the Congolese and Igbos as well. And so the Ewe people are over 3 million strong. They got a lot of people in Cuba that are of the Ewe tribe. Ewe refers to life-giving herbs, while in Haiti, the Ewe fawn deity, Nana Buklu or Nana Buluku or Nana Buku is remembered as the god of life-giving herbs and medicine. The Ewe are closely related to the Mina tribe, also known as the Fawn tribe in Benin or Dahomey. In fact, the word voodoo is often associated with the Haitian religious practice of, this is basically a Fongi word or Fawn word. Voodoo is a Fawn word. The DNA of the Akan, Ga, Gadami, Yoruba, Igbo are all identical, meaning that they're all brothers. They're the Kwa-speaking people, Eastern Kwa, Western Kwa-speaking Ajab people. So the Yorubas, the Igbos, the Ga, Akan, because their DNA is 99.9% similar, that means that they are all the same people. Even though other people might say, no, the Igbos are different than Yorubas, no, they're all the same people through Israel, through Jacob. And this, I'm not going to play the whole thing because I know we have time restraints, but this is about Cuba and the Ewe people and showing you the connection.
y saber ya de dónde desciende uno, de dónde viene y cómo viene. Eso es divino.
No other people in this part of the world used to practice such cultural activities. So, the history our grandfathers and our fathers were telling us has come true. That our people has been taken into slavery and some of them are still existing.
Mi pueblo está en Cuba, pero mi alma está en Cuba. Y gracias a esa alma que está en África es que se nutre este pueblo aquí.
So even though we may speak English or Spanish or Portuguese, we still have a connection to Africa. You can see here Cuba, they're speaking the same language in Cuba, doing the same rituals that they're doing in West Africa. And the connection is to find out what were the basis of the languages that the Bantu Negro people were speaking in West Africa as it pertains to Israel and Hebrew. So when you look at the Bida Biafra, the Igbo people, Jamaica, Virginia, Carolina, Georgia, primarily were taken from the Bida Biafra, which is the West African coast. High numbers. The Bida Bani, the old maps would say the Bida Bani, the Bida Calabar. Some of these slave ships even came from Bristol, Liverpool, and the United Kingdom in Europe. They were slaves under the British hand. So a lot of them were sent to the Carolinas, Virginia, Jamaica. That was the second most common disembarkation point for slave ships that came from Nigeria and Cameroon and the Biafra territory. This is basically Benin, Cameroon, Biafra. The indigenous people in Biafra is what the Igbos talk about all the time. Biafra back in those days consisted of parts of Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Cameroon, and Nigeria. They're all the same people. And so you see here that ancient slave forts such as the Ouida slave port in Benin took millions of Hebrew slaves that scattered to the four corners of the earth. We talked about the Koromati being of Igbo and Akan and Congolese descent, even from Madagascar, taking the different slave ports in Ghana and Benin through the door of no return. Now, what is the basis of an identity? Identity is part of our heritage. So heritage is the full range of our heritage, traditions, monuments, objects, and cultures. Our behaviors are drawn from our heritage. Traditions, customs, languages, and the background morals that one comes from, one receives. Africans and people in Nigeria, they have traditions and customs that we don't have. They speak languages that we don't have. Culture is customary beliefs, whether you monotheism, you believe in one God or multiple gods, social norms, rituals, taboos, dietary habits, festivals and gatherings, dress, music, all these different things. We celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving and Halloween and the Easter bunny and Easter baskets and getting dressed up in nice suits. That's not really our true heritage and culture. The Hebrews had a way of life. For them, the way of life of the Torah was just natural to them. It was God's law. They had it in their head. They passed it down to their children. The people in West Africa, they don't have a Torah written in their language or a Tanakh or Old Testament. They know this because it's been passed down to us. So the Bible is broken down into the ceremonial law, civil law, moral law, because you know the Bible is the basis of morality in the United States of America. So when you look at African Americans, we have a disconnection of our identity from West Africa via slavery, and in turn, disconnection from our Israelite identity. So is this our true heritage and culture? Air Jordans, Air Force Ones, Prada, Gucci, Fendi, Red Bottoms, all that stuff. What about this? Is this our real culture? Soul food, slave master's food, slave trade, all that stuff, chitlins, all that stuff. That's not what we used to eat. Raccoons and all this other stuff, possums. No, some people say you used to eat that. Anybody used to eat possum and raccoon, chitlins? That's not what the West Africans eat. They had a dietary law. So you have a lot of mental health in Black America too. Since slavery, the Black church has been a key force for the mental and physical survival of Black people in America, rippling the still continual residual effects of white supremacy. So you have psychological mental illness that affects Black people. We endure racism, discrimination, stereotypes, racial slurs, even to this day. Hate crimes, rape, beating, lynching, torturing, legal injustice, racist job hiring practices overall can be seen as overwhelming for African Americans or Negro diasporans. Black people, we've always been a loving, forgiving, spiritual, nonviolent to other nations that we live amongst. But they kill us and everything else. Come into our church and kill us. We don't go to the church to kill them. But what are the long-term effects of our mental health when we go through this generation to generation? What happens is when we repress our justifiable feelings of sadness, guilt, anger, hopelessness, and outrage for a long period of time, even looking at indirect or direct experiences, either personally or indirectly from someone we know, or looking at TV every day and seeing how black people are mistreated, how black people are getting life sentences for non-violent crimes, and just things we see on TV, is mind-blowing. This affects our mental health. No matter what our educational, social, or economic status is, the impact of racism on TV from other people and ourselves impacts our people, the people. So lost identity as a people is something we can't escape. So this lady right here, Dr. Joy DeBride, she talked about, anybody know who she is? Yes. She talked about post-traumatic slave syndrome as a theory for explaining the effects of unresolved trauma on the behaviors of blacks transmitted from generation to generation. So behaviors is something that is learned and is the way in which one conducts themselves with each other, meaning your kinfolk or other nations. So today in Hollywood, we'll see different patterns of destruction they have for us using Hollywood. You see the pattern of Boots and dressing up as women and Flip Wilson and Tyler Perry and Eddie Murphy, Kevin Hart, Jamie Foxx. The Bible says something else. It says, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination to the Lord God. So we're throwing out our morals for money. We have a lost identity. White girls, this is the guy that played 12 Years a Slave. Before he played 12 Years a Slave, he played a woman in drag called Kiki Boots. Joanna Man, Samuel Jackson, Cuba Gooding Jr., Vulture. And you see it just keeps going on. Holiday Heart, Fifth Element, 6th Street Celebration, Diary of a Black Woman, Live in Color, Big Mama's House. We see the movies, they give us slave movies. Why do they give us slave movies? The Jewish Hollywood gives us slave movies for a reason. Rosewood, This is the Burning Queen, The Django Help. I'm sure, how many people have seen all these movies? Mostly all of us. And we've seen The Family That Prays, The Colored Girls, Biological Mary, Precious Training Day, Monster Ball, all these movies we've seen. In all these movies, it shows us a negative light. In a negative light. So, the question is, why they keep showing us this? Because this is not our heritage, our identity, our culture. Belly, Menace Society, 999, Sakari, about the Latinos and Hispanics. Now, this is a video, and I want to warn you that this guy, anybody know who D.B. Fuller is? He's going to say something. It might be something graphic in terms of the language that we hear all day long. But I want you to hear what he has to say, because I'm closing up right here about our heritage and culture. If you have kids,
we don't have a culture that makes sense. Because if you just look at the essence of black culture, you can't even enumerate what it is. Except in reaction to the culture of white supremacy. If the white supremacists are not holding us by the ear and say, okay, come here, fellow, come here, okay, come with me, do this, do that. Okay, when you finish doing this, I got another project for you. Now, we make sense when they are orchestrating what we're doing. You know, come over here and operate this machine. Okay, enough of that. Come down here and drive this vehicle. Okay, all right, enough of that. Come over here and build this bridge. Okay, enough of that. All right, now I'm allow you a little free time. See, once we get that free time, because, you know, the slave mentality is, hey, I'm not supposed to have free time. Somebody's supposed to be telling me what to do. So when I don't know, somebody's not telling me what to do every minute of my entire existence, I got no idea about what to do. I don't even know what I'm existing for. So then we fall into what we call the black culture stereotype, which is violence against other black people. And when I say violence, I mean verbal violence. Listen to black people walking down the street on their cell phones. If you don't believe it, think I'm making it up. Listen to black people walking down the street on their cell phones. MF this and MF that. And I told that MF, and you know what? And I told him, and that's both males and females. The female saying, Keisha came over to my house and she come up with all that S and started talking about this and whatnot, and you know, and she came over there telling me about Vanessa, and Vanessa is my sister, and I don't allow nobody to say nothing about my sister. This is, you know, from the back of the bus. Not one word of civility out of all of it, wherever you find black people. Nothing being said that makes any sense at all. Nothing that is constructive in any way.
Now, do people in India do that to each other? Do the Jews do that to one another? Do the Arabs really do that to one another? They're busy making money in our communities. And you look at, I know the Latinos, they fight each other, but look at the Koreans. Do they do it to each other? They don't. They run the beauty supply stores and they make a lot of money off of us. But you see how important identity is and how it shapes our heritage and our culture and our traditions and customs, which shape our behavior. And this is the reason why we're in a bad situation and we have all types of things going on. Mental disease, physical disease, and the list goes on and on. So it is important to understand who we are, because if we understand who we are and identity, then we can get back to our real tradition, our culture, our heritage, and start to clean up. Because the Bible says that the Most High, Christ is coming back for a bride that's without blemish. And we don't want to be like what Neely Fuller just showed, because Christ is coming back for that. He wants people that are like his royal priesthood, a kingdom of saints and prophets, kingship. So, with that being said, we need to understand that there's more history to us being descendants of slaves and Black history months, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass. We have to go back to Israel and understand who we really are, because this is what they want to keep showing us all the time. And it's only continuing the cycle of us not knowing who we are as Israelites, and therefore we continue to destroy ourselves generation to generation, and the other nations continue to get rich, and rich, and rich, and rich while they look at us and we destroy ourselves. So now that we're understanding who we are, and we have movements like Hebrews for Negroes and Israel, now they're getting nervous and scared. The Jews are, and other nations, because they're understanding that now we know who we are, we're going to clean ourselves up, and if we really keep the commandments, we will start to rise up in terms of economics and everything else. I hand over to Brother Amanda, and thank you guys. Tomorrow we'll go more into it.
Let's give Brother Roman a round of applause. Let's have some praise, y'all. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now, because the name of this conference is called the Bible in Black Conference, I think it is very vital that we follow up those historical facts with the Bible. As they say in the church, amen? Right, so just quick precepts. And it says here, I'm going to give you 2 Bible verses that's going to say everything that he just presented to us right here. Deuteronomy 28, verse 37. And Jeremiah 17, verse 4. That's just 2 verses. He gave us this extensive and detailed presentation. And I'm going to give you 2 verses that's going to say the same thing that he just said. More importantly, the Most High said it thousands of years ago. That's what we need to cling on. Deuteronomy 28, verse 37, it reads, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, for the Lord shall lead thee. This right here was written about 1,700 years before the birth of Christ. Do you understand the magnitude of that? No matter where you are, you can be in America, you can be in North Carolina, you can be in Japan. If they say the word, excuse me for my kids, it's in there, if they say the word nigger, they know exactly what we're talking about.
That's right.
In Afghanistan, Australia, Pakistan. It doesn't make a difference. I'm going to read it again. And thou shalt become an astonishment. We represent the poorest people, the most desolate people, the most desolate communities in every nation, in every country in the world. So I wanted to make sure that y'all say, well, that's what Brother Ron said. Nah. I wanted you to know that this is what the Most High said. well before Brother Ron was ever born. Right? And he says, and a byword. Because as he stated, when we came here, they called us Negro.
That's right.
Around the 1900s, we moved into color.
That's right. That's right.
When they started trying to jazz it up in the 50s and the 60s, they called us Afro-Americans.
Right.
Based on our hair.
Right.
And then we graduated.
Right.
In the 80s. Now I will accept you as African Americans.
That's right.
But if you ever notice, ladies and gentlemen, when you're watching the news and they shoot us in the street, would they ever say African Americans were shot today?
Right.
You ever notice when you see us doing something outside of what they're called American? Do they ever call us African Americans then? When they're calling on us, when they discriminate against us, with all the different things that happens, we are never known as African Americans. We're always known as black.
That's right.
But if you're fighting in wars, great African American soldier.
Yes.
If you participate in their holidays and their traditions, great African Americans. Not until you do what they want you to do, or they deem acceptable, or you call an African American. Prior to that, you were black.
Right.
And look around the room, ladies and gentlemen. Look at all the shades of these people here today. But when you go fill out a form, my sister right there, beautiful woman right there, she must say, I'm black. I must say I'm black. My sister right here must say she's black. My brother right here must say he's black. And all of us are different shades.
That's right.
Now, Jeremiah 17:4. So I want y'all to make sure that y'all, like I said in the beginning, I don't want you to get caught up in the men. I want to pull everything back to the Bible.
There it is. Go ahead, Doctor.
Jeremiah 17:4. It says, even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage. This was written about 530 years before the birth of Christ. When Jeremiah wrote this, they knew exactly who they were.
Yes.
When Christ was on the scene, they knew exactly who they were. So we knew this was a future prophecy. If I ask you who you are, you say African American.
That's right.
You have discontinued from your heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. Brother Ron showed us all the countries in which which our ancestors came from, and we were there long before there ever was a country named America.
Right, right.
Y'all see that? Look at that what he said. And for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Which lets us know, ladies and gentlemen, that we didn't get here by happenstance.
That's right. That's right.
If you don't take anything away from this conference this weekend, one of the most important things that you need to realize is that you didn't go into slavery because of a white man.
Right. That's right.
You were not in captivity because of a white man.
Good word, bro. Good word, bro.
As long as you see the so-called white man as the reason for everything you're dealing with, number one, you will never hold yourself responsible.
Right.
And you will never accept who you are. Because you'll always be looking on an external factor versus the internal man. That's why our brothers and sisters on the streets acting the way they are.
All right,
because they don't know exactly who put them there. But to get out of what they been out of your ways, to get out of his way, Deuteronomy 38:27, the Most High put it in there and says, I'm going to let you know, lest thou anything get a big head and say that they did it.
Good word. Good word.
When you go to Jeremiah 30, he says, I have did this to you. So the sooner you get in your mind that it wasn't a white man, Trump and all these other presidents, you will stop looking outside and we will look on the inside.
Right.
Yep. We failed, but we shall rise.
There you go.
As long as we put our hands in Christ.
There you go. Good word,
y'all ready for some more?
Good word,
y'all ready for some more? Let's go ahead and get our brothers in there.
American just for a second. All right. So, God willing, so hopefully in this conference, what we'll do is that we're going to provide you with DNA evidence, with study of languages, history, historical books that'll show you definitively, once and for all, who we are as a people. I don't know if you all know that, Brother me, Ron, Brother Michael Israel, who just in the Bronx not too long ago. Anyone from New York or has been to New York? Got a lot of New York folks here. So that was my first time in New York. And so we were driving around. I get there, I flew in, and I was supposed to meet up with Brother Ron and Brother Michael. So we're driving around in Harlem. And got no crossover. I was about driving by myself, But I'm used to driving around in the hood, so. But Harlem's a little different than Atlanta. You guys don't know, I'm from Atlanta. And what I tell people is that Atlanta, so our projects is probably it's probably like a little section. But the Bronx is like, you know what I mean? It's like a city block full of projects, And so I was curious. I drove around for a little bit. I got turned around a couple of times. I went the wrong way down you know how they have those one-way streets. My brother had to point out to me something. Turn around. But I felt at home with my people. And I went to the Bronx. We went to Harlem, and it hit my spirit like, man, all these Israelites, and they don't know it. It's like, what can we do, Most High? I said a prayer while I was by myself driving around in the car. I was like, Most High, just give us the message that'll wake them up. I mean, it's what millions of people in the Bronx, millions of people in Harlem, and so we had a great conference. The only time things got a little sketchy was after the first night. It was late. Ron had just shown this video. And, I had problems kind of finding a little parking space to put my rental car. So I parked it was right next to an open trash can, right? And it had food in it. So around 2 a.m., or 1 a.m., 12 a.m., I was getting back to my car. I was getting ready to get out, or get in my car and drive back to New Jersey. And as I approached my car, my driver's side door and the trash can's right there, I heard this noise. So I'm by myself, right? I know that sound. That's why I get close to my door. It's coming from the trash can. I was like, okay. I could go around to the passenger side and jump in, but I'm not going out there. I know that sound. We have it. We deal with that in Atlanta. So so I walk on. And as soon as I got the key to the door and I opened the door, it stopped. Got that door. Closed the door, went off, So, lesson learned from that. If you go to the Bronx, if you go to Harlem, it's all good. Don't worry about it. But never park next to an open trash can with food in it. That's my lesson learned. But seriously, when I got into the truth, all of our stories are the same. We got into the truth. We tried to share with family and friends. Actually, I started off with a lot of Ron's books, and I tried to share with my family and friends, especially with my parents. And my dad, he's a military guy. He's a Vietnam vet. Pulls no punches, straightforward person. And so he just likes stuff in plain. Just give it to me plain stuff. Give it to me plain. All right. Take this DNA test. Take this DNA test. It'll show you all the stuff. You just show all the different tribes. DNA will tell you, all right, you're 50% this tribe. You're 40% that tribe. Right. All right, man, just take that, and we'll know for sure that I'll be able to tell you, these people got traits back to Israel. So he took the test. And actually, my mom took the test. Now, my mom's, I'm ignorant when it comes to this. My mom's a little more fair-skinned than my dad. So my dad, he's a little bit more darker than me. So we were sitting there kind of just thinking, I was like, Dad, when yours come back, you're going to be like 98% African. I just, you dark, man. And then my mom was taking this, I was like, oh, Mom, I think you might be pushing 60%. So Mom took it, so my dad's came back, and his was like, I'm going to say it was like 90-something%. I was like, oh, man, all right. You know, because when I was kind of joking with him because when it came through the mail and we opened, or not came, it was like online, and I was reviewing it with my dad. Opened up, we took a look at it and I said, Dad, I'm like, and we went over his results. You know, we saw that he was 20% this, 30% that. The moms came. Oh my goodness, mom was like 96% African. I mean, and that just goes to show you can't go by looks. You can't go by looks, right? And so, but even with all that, you know, they got the results, you know, and it showed them that they were, West African. They still didn't buy into it. It's like, all right, son, I hear you, but I need more, right? So part of the research that I learned to do was, because we've been so pre-programmed to accept books. You know, we've been so pre-programmed to accept books from universities and stuff like that. So I went out, started doing all this research. I went to Emory University, it's not too far, probably like 20 minutes from where I stay in Atlanta. And I started spending my Fridays, so this is big for me. I started spending my Fridays at Emory instead of playing Xbox, Call of Duty. So that was a big transition for me. And when I would go up there and I'd get those books, and the books they would have like the pages would be like the old books. After they turn over, the pages start turning a different color. You know what I mean? On it. And so I go up there. It's like nobody would be on like the fifth or sixth floor. I go up on Emory, fifth or sixth floor, it'd be all dark, and just start going through these books. I start finding, oh man, it says this. Wow, it says that. And what I realized was that as I was coming into the truth, it was going to be hard for me to share with people because there was nobody else up there with me. It's like the whole journey that I was going through to get all this information, there was nobody else to share with. And so I actually got frustrated because I was thinking, all right, so how can we get this information out to the brothers and sisters so that they know that according to the books, like these books say that you are the people. Like these, I tell people, like, I didn't write any of these books. You won't find my name on any of those books. And actually, some of these books that we'll go through, they've been around for hundreds of years, like hundreds of years. And so I created videos, put videos out there, but folks weren't really watching them. But what I came to realize was that it just wasn't time yet. It wasn't time yet. But as soon as we started getting close, to the 400 year, depending on how you feel about the 400 years, 16, 19, we'll kind of go over some of that most High willing tomorrow. All of a sudden, people started waking up, started coming to the channel, started looking at, Ron started putting out these videos, and folks started waking up. And what I want to share with you is why people start, why folks are waking up, especially like based on this scholastic materials. Let's see, what do I have here? I have origin stories. I'm not sure if the volume works on this thing, so let me just see if it works or not. You got volume on that? Okay. All right. So basically what this is that it's all about origin stories. If you're into Marvel, I don't know if you guys watched Marvel Endgame. It just came out, this year. So Marvel Endgame came out, and you got all these different superheroes and stuff like that. And each of the superhero has its own origin story. Superman, where did Superman come from? What's his home planet? Anybody know? Krypton, right? Batman, what's his origin story? What city did he come from? Gotham. There you go. Everybody has an origin story. But when it comes to Black Hebrew Israelites, I know we don't go by this name, but there are some interesting origin stories about the Black Hebrew Israelites. I don't know who came up with it. So for Batman, I think DC makes Batman, right? So we know DC, they came up with that origin story. And we know that Marvel came up with, Captain America and all those other guys' origin stories. But who came up with that? Like some of these origin stories, if you look at it, Black Hebrew Israelites also called, and you can see all the different names, Black Hebrews, African Hebrew Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, are groups of Black Americans who believe that they are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. To varying degrees, Black Hebrews adhere to the religious beliefs and practices of both Christianity and Judaism, and with no exception, of a small number of individuals who have formally converted to Judaism. They are not recognized as Jews. Well, listen, they are not recognized as Jews by the greater Jewish community. So, why would we need to be recognized by the folks that live in the land today? Right, because one of the reasons why, when people ask us, like, so why does it matter that we are the people? I was like, so if we're Israel, that means that that's my land over there. That's like first and foremost. Like, if I'm Russian, that means my land is Russia. If I'm Chinese, that means my land is over in China. But literally, the scriptures talk about, if you're Israel, you literally have a land in Israel like where my house is. I probably have like a 2/3 of an acre or a quarter of an acre, where my house is. But that's nothing compared to what you have in Israel. Like nothing what you have compared to what you have in Israel. So one thing is that goes along with your identity is your land. And I tell people, it's like, if you want to opt out, like if you don't want to be an Israelite, I'm going to start a sign-up sheet. So if you just sign your deed over to me, put banana, and don't change your mind now. Don't change your mind. Like 2 years from now, it's like, what did I think? You good. You good. I got rent. You want to pay rent? But that's the main thing. And also, the other thing has to do with prophecy. So in the scriptures, there's a lot of prophecy in the end times that deals specifically for Israel. So you need to know what the prophecy says about you, right? But back to this origin stories thing. So if you ever took time to go back and look to see, like, where did the origin story of this stuff come from, about the black Hebrew Israelites come from? They'll usually say, well, this movement started in 1960-something, and they'll take you back to Chicago. It's like some guy in Chicago woke up one day, and he realized, he prophesied, and he had a dream. He was a Hebrew Israelite, and he started a church, right? So they might start off with 1960-something. They may talk about the people in Dimona. I don't know if you guys heard about the folks in Dimona. That's still in the 1900s. They may take you back a little bit into the early 1800s to say, it started in the 1800s with Nat Turner. So Nat Turner, when he started rebelling, he realized that he was an Israelite and started with that. So they might start with that. And the problem with that is, like, for each of the origin stories, they always trace it back to a black person. They do two things. They trace it back to a black person, and then when they trace it back to a black person, they discount it. So, but the problem is that when you do the research and you look at these books that we're going to review today and tomorrow, these books weren't written by black people. These were written by Europeans. These books are from the 1800s, they're from the 1700s, they're from the 1600s, they even talk about the 1400s. And what I found is that whenever you use old books, like books with the publication date from the 1800s and older, they consistently talk about the children of Israel, specifically in Spain and Portugal, of being black people, like all the time. Every single time, all the time, they're black people. There was no question about it, they were black people. So, and over time, I found that I needed to collect a lot of these references just so that people can read them and see that it's not just one reference. It's not like I stumbled across one reference and said, oh, they might be black. No, we stumbled across. I think right now I literally have like over 100 references that say you black, you black, you black, you black, you black, you black. And they'll have different terms. It'll say you're black. It'll say you're swarthy. It'll say you're very dark complexion. All different types of synonyms for black people. And just to give you an example, I think I'm going to skip this because we're going to review this one tomorrow. But just that, like I said before, the Spanish and the Portuguese Jews consistently using the old references, are described as black people, as swarthy people. And also, according to their own their own testimony, their self-identification, they self-identify as from being from the tribe of Judah. So it says the Spanish and the Portuguese Jews claim their descent from the tribe of Judah, right? And of course, that also includes some of the Benjamin and the Levites as well. But the reason why I bring this up is because part of the reason why we don't know who we are is when we look back in history, our history abruptly begins in 1619. Like 1619, our history picks up. We magically just sprung out of the ground. They stuck us on slave ships and they brought us over here. But what I like to do is go back before 1619, and we're going to pick up the story, or we're going to pick up history in the year of 1400s. So the transatlantic slave trade, if you guys don't know, transatlantic slave trade started in 1501, but there was something going on in Spain and Portugal. Who started the transatlantic slave trade? There was something going on that was very significant just before the transatlantic slave trade. So what we're going to do is that we're going to take a look at what was going on in Spain and Portugal just before the transatlantic slave trade. We're going to read, a bunch of references that'll give a description of what the Jews or the children of Judah look like. And you'll see words like swarthy. So I just want to put this up there for you so that you can see where, if you don't know that swarthy, and that the synonyms are over to the right, where it says black, brunette, dark, swarthy. But swarthy literally means black, right? So that when you come across references like this reference right here is from the 1600s. And it says Jews, the name given to Hebrews after their return from their captivity in Babylon. They are a religious people fond of home and their children, shrewd in money matters and intellectual. In form and feature, they are short, with dark hair and eyes, a swarthy complexion, full lips, and a characteristic nose. And I didn't write this book. I did not write this book. This book is in your libraries. You can go and read it for yourself. Just like this book here. I'm going to start to kind of skip just to the quote, but for this one, I'm going to start at the top where it says, "Thus the Jews are a people who have ever, according to the prophecy, dwelt alone without intermixing with the nations this day. Now this separate race all descend from brown ancestors." I didn't write this book, right? And then it says, from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob must have been as dark as Mar Yohanan, if not darker. Exhibit every shade of color from the black Jews of Malabar, of whom we have such an interesting account by Dr. Claus Buchanan, to the rose and lily complexion of the Jews in the banks of Elim. Now that's in German. There's a reason for that. We need go no further than the Jews of southern Spain, here we go, and compare them with those of Holland in northern Germany, to perceive a very striking difference. The Spanish Jew is always dark complexion. Always dark complexion. So if you Google Spanish Jew and you don't get something back that's dark complexion, you understand that it's not matching up with the old references. The new references will show that describe the Jews as something other than dark complexion. Now, this reference also is from this one's from the 1700s. This is by John Mackey, and this is one that I tend to use from time to time. But this one, in this book, John Mackey is describing the Earl of Nottingham. And so I'm going to jump down over to the right-hand side of the last paragraph, where he's describing how he looks. And it says, he has also the exterior air of business, an application enough to make himself very capable, and his habit and manners very formal, a tall, thin, very black man, like a Spaniard or Jew, about 50 years old. And what I tell people is that when you turn on the 5 o'clock news and they talk about a very black person, somebody said, 5 o'clock news, attention, breaking news, we have a tall, thin, very black man. Are you thinking about a Jew? You think about somebody else. Back in the 1700s, what came to mind was a Jew, right? Or someone from the tribe of Judah. And also, this is another good one. So this is from the 1600s, Baruch Spinoza. So he is a Portuguese Jew himself. So he's giving a description. This is like a self-identification of himself, of his people. And we're going to pick this up mid-paragraph where it says, and as he's describing his people, it says, he was of a middle size. He had good features in his face. The skin somewhat black. Black curly hair, long eyebrows, and of the same color, so that one might easily know by his looks that he was descended from Portuguese Jews. So again, Portuguese Jews were consistently described as black, swarthy, almost black, or somewhat black in this reference. And the reason why this becomes important is because when we go back in history, and we pick up history in the 1400s, and we see that something major is happening in Spain. So just before the transatlantic slave trade, Spain has a bunch of black Jews living in Spain just before the transatlantic slave trade. And there's books out there that'll give you like different numbers. The old books will give you big numbers. The newer books will give you small numbers. They'll try to downplay those numbers. But if you use the old books, they'll give you numbers from upwards of, I don't know if you all have heard of Woodstock. So there was a concert in Woodstock where there was like 600,000 people. So if you ever get a chance, go out and Google Woodstock and just take a look at those pictures of Woodstock. And just keep in mind that's how many black people were in Spain just before the transatlantic slave trade. Right, just before the transatlantic slave trade. And then something happened with Spain, and then Spain expelled them, and then Portugal did something bad to them. We're going to take a look at that. And you'll see that we're going to walk this right up to your front doorstep. Because a lot of us, we may be looking at this and we may hear something about DNA, we may hear something about language, you may hear me read books and stuff like that, but at the end of the day you say, all right, so what does this have to do with me? Like, all right, so how does it affect me here in the U.S., sitting in this seat? How does that impact me? Well, we're going to walk this history all the way up to your front door, right? We're going to walk this history all the way to your front door. All right, so here we are in this reference. This might be a little hard to see, but this one also, this one's actually from the 1800s, and this is Hugh Clapperton. So Hugh Clapperton actually goes to the west coast of Africa. He's having a conversation with the sheik. So I refer to him as boots on the ground. So he's having a conversation with the sheik, and he kind of writes it down with a journal. And the sheik, asks him, says, "You are not Jews," says he. "No," said I. "Christian then?" "Even so," replied I. In other words, he's saying yes. He says, "I have read of you. You are better than Jews," said he. "Are Jews white like you?" "No," replied I. "Rather more like yourself. Very dark." Right? So again, when you read these old books, they consistently describe the Jews as a different color. And just to give you a few more here. So this one is, A New Voyage to Italy. And this one's a good one because this one also tells you or shows us how broad the understanding that the Jews were black. So in this one, you might not be able to see it on the screen, so I'm going to see if I can find it here. Yeah, so it's probably like the seventh sentence in the red block area where it says, "'Tis also a vulgar error that the Jews are all black." So in other words, he's saying it's a mistake to say that the Jews are all black. Now, why would he be saying this? He said, it's a mistake to say that the Jews are all black, for this is only true. This is only true of the Portuguese Jews. Now, and we also have to keep in mind that when it says Portuguese Jews, it also by default refers to the Spanish Jews. Because the Spanish, we're going to get into the history, Spain expelled their Jews out in 1492. A lot of them came over into Portugal. And then when they came over to Portugal, then Portugal did something to them. We're going to read about that. But this is describing the Jews. It says, "For this is only true of the Portuguese Jews, who marrying always among one another, begat children like themselves, and consequently the swarthiness of their complexion is entailed upon their whole race, even in the northern regions." So again, black, swarthy, very dark, very black, dark complexion. And even with this one talks about, it says, "Thus the black color is found not only in individuals as the black Jews of Portugal." So black Jews of Portugal. So one of the things that we're also going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at what the Jews were called. Like they were literally called black. Like in Portugal, they were literally called black. And of course in Portugal, they weren't speaking English, they were speaking Portuguese. And the Portuguese word for black back then was Negro. So just before the transatlantic slave trade, they have all these people in Spain and Portugal that they're calling Negro, that they're doing something to, right? And this is why our history cuts off at 1619, because the reason why, one of the examples I give folks is that, like in my house, my kids, we got a 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 7-year-old, 2 boys and a girl. And every now and then they'll do puzzles. We'll get those 1,000-piece puzzles, and everybody's playing, working on getting the corners, get the edges first, right? You build in. And my son, the oldest, he gets a little evil with the pieces, because he'll take a piece And he'll put it in his pocket. So while all of us are working on it, then we get down to that last piece. Say, hey man, you see that? What that piece? I was gonna put that last piece in. And he'll pop, oh Dad, I got it. There we go, I finished it. So that's the only reason why he does it. But that's kind of like how our history is. Like our history is one, when our history was all together, we had all the pieces in place. What they did is they broke up the pieces and just scattered the pieces. Some of the pieces they hid, but some of the pieces are still there in plain sight. What they don't do is that they don't tell you that this piece goes with that piece. Like they don't tell you that the Jews being black in Spain and Portugal goes along with the Inquisition. Because when you read about the Inquisition in Portugal, in your mind you're not thinking, oh, those aren't black people, right? Because when I look at the books, it doesn't say that. But yes, that piece that shows the Jews being black people goes along with the Inquisition. So now you have to put that together. And then you also have to put the piece of the transatlantic slave trade along with the Inquisition. Because nobody told you that the Inquisition was on the west coast of Africa. And what I tell people is that the Inquisition followed you wherever you went. So the Inquisition was all over in Spain and Portugal. Of course, we know that they had the black Jews in Spain and Portugal. So then Spain and Portugal goes over to the west coast of Africa, to Sao Tome. They put an Inquisition office in Sao Tome. Why would they put an Inquisition office in Sao Tome? So then they started the transatlantic slave trades, and they take the slaves from the west coast of Africa, put them over into the Americas. They started an Inquisition office in the Americas, right? And then from the Americas, they go up into the, what's called the United States. Now, then you're thinking, all right, brother, man, but the Inquisition isn't here in the United States. I know for sure. Well, I tell people that when you know what the Inquisition folks look like, then you'll realize that the Inquisition is here in the United States. For example, when the Inquisition folks would have a uniform, just like a police officer. If a police officer walked in, you'd be able to look at that uniform and say, oh, you're a police officer. Or somebody, a firefighter walked in, they had the firefighter uniform and said, oh, you're a firefighter, right? Inquisition, same thing. Inquisition folks had a uniform. And sometimes their uniforms had different colors, but one of the most notable uniforms of the Inquisition was all white. They would have all white on. And the Inquisitor would have a cowl or something covering his face, but he had 2 holes. And then he had a comb. You see a comb hat. And we'll go over that tomorrow. But why is this person over here persecuting you dressed like that? Why is this person that he has his history goes back to Spain and Portugal, why is he persecuting you dressed like, out of all the uniforms he could have put on, he put that one on. So, puzzle piece. That's I refer to it as an undisputable puzzle piece. And each of these puzzle pieces are parts of our history that you can look up yourself. You can go to a library and you'll be able to confirm. So, oh yeah, it says that the Jews were expelled from Spain. Everybody knows that. Nobody argues about that. Oh yeah. They may not. The people of present they may argue a little bit about the Jews being black in Spain and Portugal until you start putting this information out. And once you do that, they'll say, okay, all right. So they're black. Undisputable puzzle piece. So a lot of these puzzle pieces are undisputed. And the books some of the books are easy to get a hold of. What I found was that the books that are very expensive are the books that have puzzle pieces, multiple puzzle pieces in one spot. Like the book that, I think we're going to go over this tomorrow, yeah, I will. But the book that costs $56,000 that we'll see, no, I think it's $65,000, sorry. That book has a few major puzzle pieces in it, right? That book will tell you about what I call them bad boy number 3, King John III. So we're going to go through there's a couple of kings in Portugal that were they played a major part in black history. Major part in black history. King John III played a major part in black history. And there's a book that's like I said, cost $65,000 that talks about King John III and what King John III did to these black Jews on the west coast of Africa. I mean, he puts it all together and says, oh yeah, you take them over there. And we made them slaves and we sent them over there. $65,000. That's why you haven't read it. Because who's going? Like I tell people, if I had a choice, $65,000, that's a Cadillac. It's like a brand new Cadillac with spinners. You have some spinners on it. Right? If I had a choice between a Cadillac and a book, I'm gonna be riding. I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna be riding. But all right, let me just move on just a little bit. I know it's getting kind of late, and we've had a full day at work. So just want to kind of wrap this up just with a few other references, just to show you that it's not a one-off thing. Like in this one, you see it says the Jews of Portugal are very dark, right? And then even in this one, because sometimes when I bring this out to people, they'll say, well, they were kind of like, they were dark-skinned Europeans. They were dark-skinned, and they had the straight hair. That's how it was. They weren't Negro. They'll give you the black, but they won't give you the Negro part, right? So then I bring this up. Oh, okay, hang on. Let's read this one. This one is talking about the Jewish population in London. It says, as I tentatively surveyed the Jewish population on the streets of London, I fancy I could perceive 3 different casts of features. The first, Jewish, par excellence and never to be mistaken. So out of the 3, he's talking about the first one. So I'm going to drop down to where he's talking about the first one. He says, this is midway on the paragraph. It says, of the first form, I need say little to you, begging you merely to recollect that the contour is convex. Now he's going to describe it to the T. That the contour is convex, the eyes long and fine, the outer angles running towards the temples, the brow and the nose apt to form a single convex line, the nose comparatively narrow at the base, the eyes consequently approaching each other. Lips very full, mouth projecting, chin small, and the whole physiognomy, in other words, the way he looks, everything, the way he looks, when swarthy or when black, as it often is, has an African look. So I bring that out, he's like, oh, okay, I guess maybe they are African-looking Jews, right? And it's kind of funny because when you put this stuff out, you see like people that would fight against you, you keep seeing kind of squirming with it, and they'll come up with different things like, oh, you know what, brother, you know what? I didn't say that there weren't no black folks in Israel, right? We had slaves, so Israel had slaves. And so we brought them in, and they became Jews, and that's how you're seeing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But we still original. I'm telling you what they say. And even to the point where I kind of thought this in the back of my mind. Like, so when I start putting out all these references, 50 references, 70 references, 100 references, now I believe we're over 100 references. What I tell people is that don't be surprised when you have Europeans start claiming to be black. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. They claim to be black. There was something on YouTube, I'm going to put it in the video, where the Jewish was saying something to the point where, we were called black too. We were called black. I mean, literally, he found a quote where it said white Negro. So you can see white Negro right there. That's me. That's us. So every time you see Negro, it's talking about us. Right? So just be prepared. I'm telling you, just wait. It's coming. It's coming. All right. Let me see if I'm going to skip some of these. Because some of these, it gets redundant. It says the same thing. And like in this one, it says swarthy in Portugal and Spain. So again, the whole point in bringing this out was just to show you that over and over and over and over again. You can't read that up there, but it says the brown Jews of Portugal. Southern France, now France is a big one, because I really haven't talked a whole lot about France. Because you guys probably saw like the Notre Dame had burned down, and folks are getting upset about it. So Notre Dame was a Gothic church. So back during the time of the Inquisition, like a Gothic church for an Israelite was a bad thing. Like they were doing bad things. Like I actually shared a screenshot from a Gothic church in I think we were in Augusta, Georgia, and in Portugal they call it a bone church. And the reason why they call it a bone church, so you have the Inquisition, they have like the Inquisition office or headquarters, and then they have a courtyard, and then on the other side of the courtyard they have a Gothic church, and within this Gothic church it's a big attraction today, so you can actually go and buy tickets for it. But the thing about it, when you walk inside, you'll see a whole wall full of bones. The entire wall is full of bones. You'll see a skeleton and you actually see the melanin still in the skin, so you know they're color people. Right. Skeleton hanging from the ceiling. Mm-hmm. Then you'll see a little child hanging from the ceiling. Gothic church, right? A Gothic church. This is why I tell people, it's like, hold off on the reparation talk until you know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you don't know what you lost. Like this, the whole thing about the Spanish and Portuguese Jews, like this was before the transatlantic slave trade. And then not only that, while the transatlantic slave trade was taking place, at the same time, the Inquisition was taking place. Like it was both happening at the same time, by the same countries, in the same place, against the same people. And another example I give is like, when I was in college, and I tell people, like, I had a nice ride, it was a black car, I had 10 windows on it, I had the bar on the front, speakers in the back, amp in there, right? And I would normally park in front of my apartment because I would stay off campus. And I came out one day, and my speakers were gone, my amp was gone. I was like, oh man, they got me. Oh, they got me. Now, when we're gonna help you? Oh, they got me. They took my amp, my speaker. It's like, oh, what apartment you live in? I told them. It's like, oh, you outside of campus. Oh yeah, they hit that apartment pretty hard last night. You're not the only one. They hit several cars. I was like, they did? I said, all right, let me call insurance. So call the insurance company. With the insurance company, they want you to describe what happened. So I describe what happened. So, yeah, they took my stuff. But then, in order for me to get a payment from the insurance company, I had to tell them what was lost. Right? I had to know what was lost. And that's why I tell people to hold off on the reparations. Because in the whole thing about Spain and Portugal, what you don't realize is that the Portuguese and Spanish Jews were rich. Like when they were over in Spain, they had mansions, they had estates, all kinds of money. But then when they were kicked out of Spain, they had to give all that up. Right? They said, you either accept Roman Christianity, or either you get put to death, or you have to leave. Right. So a lot of them, and that's why I tell people, it's like you have to realize the state of mind of these people to say, I'm going to give up my mansion. I would rather give up my mansion than to accept Catholicism. And that's what a lot of them did. So they gave it up, they walked away, they went over to a country that some of them may not have known anything about, came over there, got abused. And we're going to go into some of this tomorrow, where they were abused, they were beaten, they were sent into slavery. A lot of them were made slaves. And it's like, are you going to accept Roman Catholicism? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. These were black people. And so they gave up, the net here is that they gave up a lot in Spain and Portugal. And so that is owed to you, right? And then not only that, I don't hear a whole lot of people talking about it, but another thing that's owed to you is your identity. They took your identity away from you. So they need to tell you, oh, no, you are the children of Israel. That's part of what's due. Right. All right, family. Like I said, it's getting late, so I'm not going to go through the rest of these. We'll pick this up tomorrow. But just know that what we're going to do is that we're going to go through these references. We're going to start off by taking a look at the description of the Jews, and then we're going to go into the history. We're going to start off in Spain and Portugal. Then we're going to go over to the west coast of Africa. We're going to tie into what Brother Ron's talking about the DNA, about how the DNA on the West Africans traces back to you, traces back to Portugal, traces back to all these other places. And then we're going to walk it up to your front door, right? Walk it to your front door, so that you'll know beyond a shadow of a doubt, who you are and where you came from. All right, family. Shalom. Yeah.
How many people show of hands going to be here tomorrow? All right, because tomorrow I'm going to lay it so thick on you guys. Your hands going to start swirling. What we have to understand is that we're not the descendants of Ham, and I can prove who the descendants of Shem are, the sons of Ham. But then when you look at, say for instance, you look at Ezekiel, and people talk about Gog and Magog. They say Gog and Magog is two giants, but we know they talk about the land of Magog. And Ezekiel 38 talks about Gomer and all his bands. So we know that Gomer is significant. It talks about Magog, Resh, Meshach, Tubal, Persia, Cush, Libya, all these different nations that are being called out in Ezekiel. Even the Confederate in Psalm 83. But when you look at Ezekiel 36, the dry bones, 37, 38, Gog and Magog, Gomer, Magog, we have to understand who these nations are. So a lot of us don't know who these nations are. And when you look about Gog and Magog in Revelations, you got Gog and Magog in Revelation, Gog and Magog in Ezekiel, Gog and Magog in Daniel, you got the Confederate. So once you understand who we are and who they are, then you can really understand end times biblical prophecy and why China, Russia, India, the British, the Germans, the French, the Arabs, all these people are coming into Africa and they're just taking over. Why they want Greenland, what's going on in Australia, what are they doing in America, what is their end goal? You know, even with technology and the blockchain, the artificial intelligence and biometrics and digital money and all these different things. It's all going to tie in to Revelation 13, the mark of the beast, when it says he causeth all to have the mark, the number, the name of the beast, that nobody should be able to buy or sell without it. So that's important because we got to understand that there's an economic component to Revelation 13. Whether you believe the mark of the beast is an implant or something else, it's an economic component where no man, or it says that he calls all to take this mark if you want to buy or sell. And that's coming our way. We need to understand who's behind it. Who's behind Mystery Babylon, central banking, all these different things. Back in the old days, they had the denarius. They had the shekel, which was a unit of weight for gold and silver. Today, we have the dollar bill, we have the francs, we have the pound, we have pesos, we have the yuan, the renminbi, you have all these different currencies. And we need to understand how they're all going to be tied in to the mark of the beast. But specifically, when you look at Israel, the real Israelites, you can understand end time biblical prophecy by looking at us and what's going to happen to us and what the nations are going to start doing subliminally, sneaky, and decisive to us over here in America, to people in Africa, Australia, all over the world. You'll see tomorrow. So make sure you come tomorrow. We're going to start, and you probably announce it too, at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock? 10. We want to get here at 10. We're going to start. We want to get as much as we can tomorrow for those that can't make it on Sunday. I'll let Brandon get the rest. Right. And then,
let's get one and go to Benny. Some of y'all enjoyed yourself tonight. But as I said, I wanted to make sure that each time we present this information, that we bring it all back to the Bible, right? Because with our people, the Bible is the last say, right? What is the name of the conference? The Bible and Black Conference, right? So some of you may say, and I'm glad to see that maybe you said you're going to be back tomorrow. But for others, that may be a little reserved. Say, this just didn't know some good information. That's all good and big. But what does that really mean to me when I go to heaven? What has that got to do with me and Christ? Let's go to Jeremiah 31 and get Hebrews 8. Now, let's have me long from the end, but I want to make sure that you understand the depths of what these brothers has given us today. Because, as he said, these things are all related to prophecies. Right? So let's look at Jeremiah 31 and verse 31. It says, behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers, that day I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, said the Lord. But this shall be the covenant I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, said the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts, and I will write in their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Now, oftentimes when we bring this to our Christian brothers and sisters, they will say, but that's Old Testament. That's done away. I thought you might say that. Let's go to Hebrews 8. How many of y'all like Paul? Y'all understand what Paul said, right? I'm going to show you what Paul said. The same exact thing. So that you will know that the myth that the covenant is with the church is not a truth. Because when we take this information to a lot of our people, they like to say, well, it doesn't matter whether I'm an Israelite or Gentile because I'm in the new covenant. I'm a spiritual Jew. And when I ask them to show me that verse, they can't. Because it doesn't exist. Brother Benedict went through thousands and thousands of references and he can't find spiritual Jew in it. Brother Warren got power flip after flip after flip, note after note after note. We ain't found spiritual Jews yet. But I will show you what it says here in Hebrews 8, verse 8. I could quote it, but I don't want y'all to say I'm making it up. Hebrews 8, and I always like to start at verse 8. For finding fault with them. Who is them? Because the only person that they can find fault, he can find fault with, is the people who the covenant was set with. If you go to Psalms 147, verse 19, he said, I gave my word unto Jacob, statutes unto Israel. No other nation have I known. As far as my judgments, they have not known them. Praise you the Most High. So he says, for finding fault with them, he said, behold, the day come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the Christian church. Hold on. I will make a new covenant with the black people, with the Americans, with the Europeans, with the Catholic Church. Okay. Out of the mouth of babes. I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not a covenant according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand and led them out of Egypt, because they have continued in my covenant and have regarded it not, saith the Lord. So a lot of times I'm saying this, I'm bringing you to this, ladies and gentlemen, it's because a lot of times when in the church where they bring you to what they call the New Testament, you don't even know what Paul is quoting is actually in what they call the Old. This is the reason how they can flip it back and forth and tell you when the stuff is done away. You don't even know that he's quoting in Jeremiah 31. But you say, well, still though, I don't know. I thought you may say that. Let's go back to Jeremiah 31. This is it. Watch this though. This is what I need you to understand the importance of coming back tomorrow.
Make it plain, Murray.
Because what they're going to give us tomorrow is a foundation for us to build upon. But you need to understand the depths of why this is important. Both of them said to us, what does this mean to me in America today? I'm going to show you. Jeremiah 31, verse 35. Look at this. Thus says the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and the stars by a light, for a light by night, which divideth the sea, which the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when y'all came in here today, was the sun shining? When you go outside tonight, you're going to see the moon. My family right now is currently down at the beach. The roar, the wind, the waves is roaring back and forth. He says, if these things depart before me, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation for me forever. Hallelujah. So that lets me know every morning when I see the sun rise. That means every night when I see the moon. That lets me know that Israel still means something to the Most High. So if you need to understand why is it important, when you wake up in the morning, when you might be tired and had a long day, why do I need to go out here tonight? Look out your window. If you see the sun, you need to be here tomorrow. That's your reason every day to get in this Bible, to do your own research, and to find out who you are. Because as long as that sun is shining at day and the moon is shining at night, Israel matters to the Most High. Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
I just want to say something real quick before we close it out. The Bible in the book of Revelations, and I used to read this all the time to understand it, but the Bible says in Revelation 12:17, it says that the dragon was wroth with the woman. Now who's the dragon?
Satan.
Who's the woman?
Israel.
And went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Who's her seed?
12 tribes.
Which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ or Yeshua. Now, when you look at the commandments, we see that in schools today they're teaching the LGBT movement. We see a lot of our brothers and sisters are in homosexuality, bisexuality, gender fluidity, transgender. We're seeing a lot of the commandments being broken every day. We watch Empire and Power and Loving Hip Hop. Thou shalt not kill, steal, murder, adultery, fornication, honor your mother and father, all these different things. These are commandments. But you're seeing a rise in unrighteousness and people just breaking the commandments left and right and teaching that it's okay, I can be homosexual and still accept Christ and go to heaven. You got Christian, gay pastors, homosexual pastors that's being accepted. And these are the things that we're seeing, and we're accepting these things. The Christian church is accepting these things, but the scripture clearly states, and I read this to my mom and dad all the time, that the devil, that Satan is going to be wroth, which is exceedingly angry, and make war with the remnant of her seed. The remnant, only the remnant is going to be saved, which is the Israelites, which keep the commandments of God and also bear the testimony of Christ. And that's what we're doing today. We're trying to teach the people is that we got to get back to the laws as well as bear the testimony of Christ and salvation through Christ. So I always tell my mom and dad, because my dad's a pastor and mom's the first lady, I said, I'm not trying to convert you into something you already are. Because they always say, you're trying to convert me to another religion. You're practicing another religion, it's a cult. You don't worship Christ. And she's calling people to say, talk to Ron. He's crazy. He's always crazy. I said, I'm not trying to convert you to an Israelite because you're already an Israelite. I already accept the Old Testament and New Testament in Christ. And baptism in the Holy Spirit, the whole lot. What they got to understand is that the Bible is real, and that when Christ comes back, he's not coming back with kisses and hugs and love. He's coming with a sword. He's coming to judge. And for those that are doing the right thing, those are the ones going to make it to the kingdom. It's in the scripture, the New Testament.
And because the Bible says precept upon precept, line upon line, I must follow Ron up with Romans 3. And I'm going to start at the verse that you like to go to, Ron. I'm going to start at verse 27. Where is boasting then? It is excluded by what? Law of works? Nay, by the law of faith. Therefore we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. And they are stopped there. But I ain't never heard of a person that read a book and just stop.
That's good.
For the sake of the night, we're going to keep reading. Verse 29. Is he the God of the Jews only? Is he also now the God of the Gentiles? Because this is what our brothers and sisters will say all the time. I'm not Israel, I'm a Gentile. Okay? Yes, of the Gentiles also. Seeing that there is one God, we shall justify the circumcision by faith. Circumcision is Israel. On the 8th day, we was to circumcise the male on the 8th day. By faith, and by any uncircumcision, which is the Gentiles through faith, do we then make void the law through faith? Paul is asking, because we live by faith, do we make void the law? What was his answer? God forbid. What did he say? Now you're on the grace. Now you're on the grace, it's cool. Now that's done away with. Now you ain't got to worry about it. What does God forbid? No! Yes, we established the law. So even if you want to believe currently, you are a Gentile, you still got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Hallelujah. So, after hearing all that, let me ask the question again, Brother Ron. How many of y'all coming back tomorrow? Hallelujah. And I want y'all to make your sincere effort to bring someone from your family. Go home on your social media and post about something else besides Popeye's chicken and soda plates, Chick-fil-A. Go home and post about something else besides the football game and all these things. Tell them about the Bible and Black Conference. Tell them what Brother Ron and Brother Renee will talk to you about. And try to get our brothers and sisters on again tomorrow morning. We're going to open the doors at 9 and we will be starting promptly at 10. All right?
Brother Joseph from the House of Yah in Cincinnati, he was at the great Hebrew awakening we got in Detroit with his people, and he just wanted to say something before we close out. Brother Joseph.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Most High is doing some great things in these last days. The awakening is real. Just when they said that, I didn't know what to expect because they said it was kind of like a Christian event. And I look at here and I see men with beards, men looking all strong with their beards on their face. I see women dressed modest. I say, man, these people, they already awake. I think we walking into a place where the people are just totally dead, sleep. The people are here, they awake. Hallelujah. So since y'all are awake, hallelujah. I praise Most High for those people here that's awake. Hallelujah. The rest of them just come back tomorrow. All right, so how many people here like listening to some righteous music? Just a few of y'all. I know like the rest of y'all like to listen to the radio, secular music, all that. All right, so I came down here to also to support Ron, Benayah, Israel Ben Yehuda, my Ike back here in the back, Michael Israel, just me and my elder right here. Just wanted to come down here and support them, but also too, I came down here to plant seeds. All right, because we know a lot of our brothers and sisters, they still listen to this worldly music. So I got about 300 to 400 CDs back there. I'm giving them away for free. I'm gonna be standing in the back. If you know somebody in your family that needs this truth, I'm giving this CD is called the Wake Up Album. All right, it's gonna wake you up. All right, so I'm standing there in the back. I'm gonna be standing there with my box. All you gotta do is just reach in, grab some CDs, and for you, for your family, whatever. I'm trying to leave out of here with none. All right, hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Blessing. That's a blessing. Shouts out to Dr. Israel coming down here, bringing this information out here today. We thank Dr. Israel for coming. Thank Rabbi Wise. Thank his lovely wife. We thank each and every one of y'all, man, for being here tonight. Man, y'all don't understand, man, how much we've been praying for this and how much we believe this, and the enemy done tried everything in his power to keep this. Y'all don't even understand. But he's already defeated, man. I read the back of the book. We won, man. All praise, hallelujah. Thank Dr. Bannister again for opening the doors. Thank Temple Memorial for your hospitality and warm smiles and everything. Thank you for everything. All the ushers and everybody. Appreciate you, but more importantly, we appreciate each and every one of you. Because this would not have been a success without you. You and you. So we want to see y'all bright and early tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. As they say in the church, that all hearts and minds is clear. I still got a little Baptist in me. Hey, listen. When I was a wretched undone, that Baptist what brought me in. Wait, bro, I was never the say yeah, I was never that guy. But I'll tell you, all praise. Let's tell the devil, say, devil, you thought you had us. But we are the children of Israel. We are the children of Israel. We are the children of Israel. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let us pray. Father God in the heaven, we ask you to bless each and every one here tonight. We pray for traveling mercies. We pray, Father God, for the abundance. We pray for you to water the seeds that are sown in our hearts. We pray 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold over these people's lives. And we decree in the precious name of Yeshua, HaMashiach, that we will see the fruits of the seed sown here tonight. We give all glory. We give all honor, all praise to you, Father, alone, the Most High. It's in the precious name of Yeshua that we pray. Say amen, amen, amen. Shalom, Barakatah. All my Hebrews out there, Shabbat Shalom. Hallelujah.
Hey, Brian, if you could, man, talk to the people about how the conference just started off. How's it going so far?
The conference, we had a lot of people here. We probably had maybe 400. It's Friday, so people get off work, but tomorrow I'm expecting this whole place to be packed. I know some people personally that text me. They're from different places. They're going to be here tomorrow, and I'm going to lay it thick tomorrow. Me and Benaya, from 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock to the evening time, people are going to have to get their notepads. They're going to have to get their notebooks, and take some notes, and get a lot of sleep. And tomorrow we're covering a lot of stuff before Sunday. But it was a good turnout. A lot of people accepted everything we said, and they weren't discouraged. I didn't see a lot of people leaving. So they were all in tune, ready to proceed this truth.
And what can they expect to be to learn tomorrow? The game from coming here tomorrow. Those people who weren't here tonight are thinking about coming out.
Tomorrow I'm gonna go into more detail of connecting us to Israel, proving that we are the people of the book, like the conference says, and then also tying into end times biblical prophecy and why it does matter. Understanding who we are as the Israelites and who they are.
Okay, all right. So, all right. So yeah, y'all, we expect like you heard him say, it's a big building here, and when I got here, I mean it was pretty packed. Everybody was here on time, and it started on time. So yeah, it's gonna be an awesome event. I know some good information was brought out. Now check this out. This is something that was just brought to my attention after I leave this event. I'm going over one of my aunt's house, and they have some books over there, some rare books with rare information, some mind-blowing information. So you'll see me going live, I guess here in about an hour and a half. And it's going to be some good information that gets brought out. Like I said, they invited me over to look at this book collection. It's two brothers. And they said some of the information in there is going to shake things up. So just tune in for that. You'll see the video. You'll see me go live, I guess, about an hour and a half from now. That said, shalom, y'all.